morning, and it's time to talk games. We do it with Gerard Campbell. He's the game junkie at stuff.co.nz, Game Junkie NZ on Twitter. Morning, Gerard.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. And today we're talking about something a little bit different, going away from the consoles and talking about this new thing called the Humble Bundle, indie games for Android.
Yeah, well, because the Humble Bundle itself has been around for a bit. It's been on iOS and that sort of things, and I think they have done a previous Android one, but last week I picked up the Humble Bundle for Android 2, and what it is it's an initiative for independent developers, and there it is on the screen, independent developers, and essentially how it works is that as we can see on the screen, and they've actually got an email update today that I received that now you get a new game, Snuggle Truck, thrown in for the same price, and basically you dictate the price that you want to pay.
For like a bunch of games. Yeah.
So like in this case, we've got 6 games. Cannabolt is my personal favourite, which has been on iOS, which is a side-scrolling jumpy one, which it is there. Then you've got things like Cogs, which is a puzzler where you have to move tiles to get cogs to work to open bits and pieces and do things. But essentially how it works is that the Humble Bundle for Android 2, it's cross-platform, so it means that when you purchase, it'll work on Windows, Mac, Linux, and Android.
Cool.
And you get a license for all of those. So you get a Steam license, so you can use them on PC. If you've got a PC, you can put them on as many Android devices as you like. And so what you do is that you say, well, okay, I'm a bit of a tight ass, so I'm only going to pay, $6 for this. So you can pay your $6, and then you determine, where that money goes to. So whether it all goes to the developers, or whether part of it goes to the developers and part of it goes to charity, and then a little bit of it goes to the crowd behind the Humble Bundle. So you can sort of determine which way that you want it to go. So so it's a really good initiative in the fact that it's, there's some really good indie games there, and it's just, it's getting independent games out there to the wider market. And of course, last year I said on the blog that I wanted to, start playing a few more independent games.
And because they're indie, does that mean that they're any better or any worse than something that's been backed by a major studio?
No, I mean, quite often they can be better because they'll be a small team. They might only be 1 or 2 guys, maybe one guy. And so what they're doing is that they're doing this way. They're doing it through without a publisher. So there's no overhead. So they don't have to factor in, or we've got to, price it so that a certain percentage goes to the publisher so that we get a bit out of it. I think it's a good springboard for, developers, and the fact that, it's going to get these games to a wide audience. And it's been going for a couple of years, I think, because I know that it has been available on the iOS for Apple. But I've got them on my Samsung tablet now, so it's and they're good games. And as you can see, I guess the beauty of it is that you can pay as much or as little as you want with this. And as we can see, on the screen, I think that the average is about $6.42 US.
Yeah.
I think at the moment.
And it breaks it down to the average for Windows, $5.74.
Yes,
for Mac.
It does.
Mac owners, this is interesting. Mac owners like to pay a little bit more. $7.02 is the average.
Yeah. And so the Linux owners $9.87.
Yeah. And it's funny because Linux, of course, is a free platform.
Yes, it is.
That's really...
So obviously us Windows users are a bit tight when it comes to splashing out the cash.
And some people have contributed quite a lot. Like the top contributor has contributed $314.
$314.
But so, total payments are $553,000.
Yes, and you see from the counter at the top of the page that it shows you that it's been running. I think this bundle is available for 2 weeks, so they've got a week to go. There's a counter on the screen there. It's 7 days, 2 hours, 41 minutes to go, and 86,000 bundles have been sold so far.
And then what happens after that?
I think after that, that's it. This Humble Bundle's gone.
And they create a new one.
That initiative's gone, and then some stage down the track they'll decide, well, we'll do another humble bundle,
Humble bundle.
humble bundle, and then they'll throw some more games in. But I mean, nice. I think it's a really good to be sort of. It's a good initiative because a lot of these games really sort of do things a wee bit differently. You know, like the puzzle ones, Cogs is a really good one, Cannonbolt, you know, these simple premise, but they're not, I guess down the independent route, they're not stuck with, you know, what a publisher wants, really. So they're not tied to the demands of a publisher in this respect. And I think it's nice the fact that you can determine, you know, what percentage goes to the developer themselves. So you can give it all if you want, or you can give some to the Child's Play charity, or you can sort of distribute it evenly. So, I mean, I think if, and we've popped it on Android tablet and an Android phone, so they all seem to run fairly well on, I think you have to have Gingerbread, perhaps 2.3 Android.
Most people do these days.
Yeah, most people do these days, which is the minimum. But I mean, the fact is cool that if you've got a, you know, that it's a cross-platform license, so you know you only can get it on your Android device, and you can also chuck it for your Mac or your Linux or your Windows PC. So I mean, you're getting a lot of copies of these games for, gee, you know, if you paid $6.30 American, you're looking at about $7.50 or $7.80 or something.
Cheap as, bro.
It's cheap as, bro.
Humblebundle.com.
Yeah, .com. And it's going to, I mean, the pricing, I guess, is good too, because, I mean, I've always been a real big proponent of the fact that if you actually price things, especially games, slightly lower, then you're going to sell more volume, surely. So doing this, then, you know, they're probably going to sell more than they would have if they'd said, right, everybody, these 6 games are $70 US.
Yeah.
You know, so dictating your price, you know, and I think, you know, that most people should be prepared to pay the average anyway, which I think is, So now, well worth it. If you've got an Android device, you want something just a wee bit different, have a look, humblebundle.com.
Check it out. Also check out the blog at stuff.co.nz in the technology section there, Game Junkie, and also Game Junkie 2.0. Just Google that and you'll come across that blog as well. And Game Junkie NZ on Twitter. Thanks very much, Gerard.
No, everywhere. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
Thanks very much. Bye.